evening, everyone, and welcome to Camppatton Family Compound. It is time for Friday night in the homestead, and tonight's topic is biomass for the homestead, garden, anything you need organic stuff for. How's everybody doing out there? Let's get up here and check everything out, and we got first one in was Super Scout, then Geeky Gardens, followed by Diana, then Kaylin, and and Mark. And Mark says he's a biomess. And I'm not sure. I kind of have expected two other people to come in. I sent them the link. I'm not sure whether or not they're going to make it up here or not. All right. So, let's see. Best way to go about it. I've been going this way today as I've been setting this up, trying to figure out what exactly I'm going to do on this. So, all right, Mark's going to go for his laptop. Yeah, I dropped the link to Courtney at Wide Family Farm because she's been posted a bunch of videos of all the stuff that they're doing, redoing their planter beds, adding biomass back to it, doing all that fun stuff and everything going along there. All right, so let's just go to the slideshow for a minute here. And we're going to, come on, there it goes. Yeah. Probably the most common yep. Probably the most common biomass people use is leaves. Raking up all the leaves and stuff from the trees and plants and stuff and putting them into a compost pile or spreading them around out in the garden. I know my wife, in the fall, when all the leaves come off all the trees in the neighborhood, because most of the gutters drain down to the storm drain in front of our house and across the street from our house. And she's out there with the leaf rake doing two things. One, unplugging the storm drain so the water can go down and down into the pipes and down to the creek 2 blocks away out into the creek. The other thing is she gets all the leaves out and she spreads them around the garden in the front and the garden in the back, and then she adds stuff to the compost bin. Especially when the leaves are still semi-green that are coming down, and getting that done. But yeah, leaves is probably the biggest one that most people use. And there's kind of a push whether it's going to be wood chips or another one, which I think I forgot to put a slide in on that one. Bad me if I forgot to put this. I know I pulled the picture out and saved it. Wood chips, especially with all the companies. Hey, Mark.
Hey, I am Chef Biomass.
So with all the wood chips companies, tree pruning companies that are either giving away the chips for free or charging for the premium chips, which is generally pine tree and certain hardwoods like oak and just lost the other one.
Maple. Birch.
Birch. That's it. Birch.
You do have to be careful getting the free ones from certain companies because you don't know what they ground up. They will grind everything, and that includes poison ivy wrapped around the trees.
Yeah.
You don't want to be handling that for at least 6 months or so.
Yeah, generally, though, as far as those services, if you catch them in the neighborhood and you see them doing thinking about, hey, do you need a place to dump it? You know, you go to them, you see what they're taking down. It's generally safe to assume they're not doing poison oak in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
generally.
I missed my chance because my one neighbor had a bunch of trees taken down, and yeah, they shredded everything, dumped some for him, took the rest with, and I wasn't here when it happened. I would have been like, hello, can you just like dump the rest over here?
Yeah.
And I would have loaded them in the trailer or whatever and taken them in the backyard.
Yeah. My wife has gotten 2 loads dumped in the big driveway there in California, where she's been driving down the street and see them wrapping up near the end of the day. And generally it's pine trees or birch trees is what they're taking down. And she goes, if you need to dump it, right up the street here.
Yeah. The other thing you got to watch for is certain, like the hardwoods and that, because they're not treated, you may not want to put them right up against your house on your gardens.
Right.
Because they will attract termites like there is no tomorrow and every other bug out there. And you could easily wind up with problems in the house.
Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to remember what it was. Back in the day when we first bought the house, when she was putting stuff around, we sprayed around the house. I can't remember what the nasty stuff is, which we no longer use.
Pyrethrin.
Not chloridane, but
pyrethrin or one of the other bug killers. Yeah.
Yeah, and you just kind of drizzle it around right at the foundation around the house. Yep. Because we didn't have any gardens growing it right up next to the house. But once you turned the front yard into a garden, that we stopped doing that. And I'm trying to remember. Hang on, I got to do a search here for you guys. Got to do a search. What plants repel
termites?
Catnip, marigolds. That's why she planted a bunch of marigolds. But several plants, including Vetriv grass, Vetiver. Vetiver grass, catnip, marigolds. Because of their natural oils and scents. Of course, then the AI goes, this should not be considered a substitute for professional chemical treatments. Yeah. That just tells me, you should use it instead of it. Oh, lemongrass.
Oh, yeah, you can cook with that too.
Yeah. Mint, garlic.
What about lemon balm, which is in the mint family? I don't think I'm ever going to get termites. That crap took over my entire foundation around the house.
Lemon balm's not listed, but eucalyptus.
It's in the mint family, so yeah.
It's rich in cineole, which is a powerful termite deterrent. But yeah, thinking about that, when my dad and brother were cutting down trees, when my brother started his landscaping company, they took down a lot of eucalyptus trees, a lot.
Yeah,
and they had piles of eucalyptus over at my dad's place.
Yeah, Kaylin, I wouldn't worry about sneaking catnip seeds. You live in, if it's an apartment, you don't own it. I'm sure they treat everything very well to make sure they don't get any kind of bugs in there.
Yeah,
on the complex.
But yeah, they never had any termites over there, even with all the wood chips, sawdust, and everything else they were, burying over there.
I used to dump all my sawdust from my planer. It was shavings, but it was everything from maple, oak, Purple Heart, which I dumped that out there too, and I didn't get no bugs came in there at all because of the Purple Heart. That's like really, it's kind of toxic, but not really.
Yeah. All right, next one. Oh yeah, I did put it in here. Straw, hay, alfalfa. And my wife's been getting bales of rice straw, a lot cheaper than hay or alfalfa straw, type stuff.
Oh, that's the straw that's left after they get all the rice seeds out of it.
Mm-hmm. And even if there is rice seed, she goes, "Oh, I got rice growing out there. Oh, wait a minute, I'm not watering it need to make the rice survive. It'll sprout, grow a little bit,
and die,
develop nitrogen, and die."
You need to keep a nice pond of water going for that.
Yeah. But yeah, my mom, my wife, my grandmother, always would get bales of hay or alfalfa from the when my on my parents' place, when they had the horses over there, we had alfalfa all the time, and we were always raking up what was left on the ground in the barn. We really didn't want to feed that to the horses or the cows, but we'd feed it to pigs or we'd put it in the garden. Oh, we'd also I
wouldn't use alfalfa or hay. I would use straw, less weed seeds in straw, and it's cheaper too.
Yeah. But since we had the alfalfa to feed the horses and oat hay to feed the horses and alfalfa to feed the cows, we had a barn full of it.
Yeah.
So let's see, next one here. Come on, brain. Which one's fava beans, which is actually not a bean, it's a pea. And fava beans make great biomass. My wife's been using it for several years now. She has it in under the trees, the fruit trees. And when it gets up to a certain height, she goes out there with the weed eater and just chops it down and leaves it. Because it's by then it's put a lot of nitrogen into the roots, and it doesn't pull the nitrogen out of the roots until after it flowers and starts developing the fava bean or fava pea. And so they just, she just, chops it and the other stuff and just puts it down in. And the 1 year, 2 years ago, by accident, she had the wandering Jew in the one corner and it had wandered out there amongst it, chopped that all up. She, "Oh no, I killed the wandering Jew." No, she didn't. That stuff is a lot tougher.
You don't kill those plants easily.
Yeah. So now so now she just kind of lets the wandering Jew wander out there with the fava beans, the I forget the other stuff she has in there with the with her cover crop that grows up and is not as a nitrogen fixer and stuff, and then she just chops that down with the weed whacker. About the time that she sees the first blossom, she puts on the note to go out there and do it, and she tries to get out there when most of them are just starting and just then blossom. They haven't really developed the pea yet, so she just chops it all down.
Why don't you just spray it with Roundup? Kidding. Anyway,
it's a good thing I controlled my other finger here.
I mean, like that. You know what? I'm not going to go there with that. Courtney had that guy on with.
Yeah, I know. That was they admitted that was Joe mainly, and they admitted that was the mistake. They should have shut him down right away. But Courtney and Dustin are redoing all their wooden planter beds. They're putting in metal ones, and the videos they put out in the last week are really cool. Doing some really good job on it and just loading them up with all the biomass they can.
Yeah, those metal ones, unless you make your own with metal roofing, if you can get it secondhand, they're not cheap.
No.
But if you find somebody in your area, if you're in a farm type area and you see somebody starting to do work on a barn or going to tear it down and they're going to peel all the metal roofing off and throw it out, ask if you can have it. It may not be the straightest stuff in the world, but it's free.
Yeah.
You can always bang it straight with a hammer and bolt some wood to it to straighten it back up.
I've seen two different styles using the corrugated metal. One is square, where they take it and they, make the planter box frame and then put the in the middle. And the latest ones, like I know Courtney have now, are the ones where it's been run through a roller, so it's got a curve to it. Yeah. So and it comes in and you bolt it together at the end of the curve. You bolt the straights to it, and you bolt the curves on the other end.
So you can do it. You can curve it yourself. Just don't run the slats horizontal. If you can cut them short,
run them vertically.
You just screw them together with stainless nuts and bolts, and you can make a circle. You can make a oval, and just don't make it too big because it will fall out on itself.
Yeah,
but you have to support the top.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but besides fava beans, let's see what's the next one here. All right, so this is actually pictures of the fava beans starting to set the
flowers,
the flower and the pods. I pulled this one up in sorghum, which kind of looks like a cross between a corn and a.
Is that the one when they go into bloom, they get these big fat heads on them in the middle?
I never saw the sorghum bloom because when we planted it, when it got to a certain size, we went out there with the hand sickle and would cut some down and feed it to cows. We used it for cow feed because it gave sweeter milk.
Oh, okay. No, I know, because there's some plant they planted here 2 years in a row, and one of the farms nearby that it looked like corn coming up, but it only got up to about 2 feet. And then all of a sudden, this stalk popped out of the middle of it, and it got this I can't think of the other plant that it does it, but it's like this bulb. It's like a cylinder type bulb of like flowers, and then it turned to seed, and then they harvested them. I'm guessing
there are different types of sorghum, and they'll grow different heights. The shorter stuff grows quicker, so they can put multiple crops in. But yeah, the stuff we had grew up about. Tammy's here.
Grain sorghum. Okay.
Yeah. And so the sorghum we had got about 5-6 feet tall before we cut it. Then there is pearl millet. That's one of the ones my wife has in her cover crop.
That's what's in bird food. Millet.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there's cereal rye, which is in a lot of different cover crops that you can order. And of course, you can always just all your kitchen scraps and stuff, and plant scraps and stuff, trimmings and everything else. I see a bunch. I see sunflowers in there. I see grape plants in there. I see berries and all the other stuff in there that they've been putting in here, as well as sunflower heads. I see some tomatoes, see some apples. So, but yeah, you can make biomass from the discard.
That's your mulch pile. I have a barrel I made 20 years ago. It still works. I put all my kitchen scraps and everything in there. Sometimes lawn clippings, whatever I can fit, and it rotates so I can spin it. And then every year or so, I open the door on it and tip it down and shovel out the what's left. Throw it in the garden. Worms love it.
Yeah, what I've done here lately with all that the lawn clippings I have, just been piling it up, in the pile with the with the wood chips and stuff. When we took down the cottonwood trees, I took all the lawn clippings, dump it on there, and took the tractor and would turn it and scrape a little bit of the the alfalfa grass that was growing up from all the seeds and alfalfa that was out back here. I scraped that up a little bit, mixed it into the wood chip piles, made some really nice stuff. And I got some a video I made today. I'll show at the end here, but I like this little setup because they can rotate through the different stations as they build up their compost and get it going. Plus, each one of these stations radiates heat out towards the ones behind or next to them, so it helps it stay warm. Yeah, cowpeas is another good one. Buckwheat is debatable if you have animals grazing out in that area. Certain animals cannot be where buckwheat is. Alpacas is number one that comes to mind. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, corn.
Silage.
You know, all I say, you take that, if you have a wood chipper, you run it through it, break it down a little bit more, put it in a compost pile, spread it on the ground or as a cover. A lot of great different uses for it.
Yeah, corn stalks and husks, they take a long time to break down naturally if you don't shred it or chop it or something. But even the farms around here, and they do it by you too, probably after they'll harvest, as they're harvesting the corn. Oh, there's a shredder blowing all that stuff back out into the field. Yeah. And then they let it sit for a couple months, and they'll run the tiller across it, plant their winter crop. Yeah. And then in the spring, they just till that under and plant more corn or soy or whatever.
Yeah. Sunflowers, same thing. I had several of my heads of sunflowers from last year when I chopped and dropped the sunflowers, and I had big patches of sunflowers starting to come up, but I was working, so those all got, up about 6 inches, and I, turned it under and everything out there in the front. If you get hold of a lot of corn stalks and stuff, you can it might be more advantageous to go ahead and rent a chipper for the weekend.
That's assuming you have like 6 acres of corn stalks to do.
or you have access to them, and you can you go in and load up your truck several times, just start loading up and start stockpiling it, and then you rent one and just go through it.
Yeah, you're probably better off getting a little one. Yeah.
Because you can with some of the little ones, you have multiple chutes on them. This looks like it has just the main big chute on it. The Champion here is the one I have, and I've run I run tree branches through it. I got several videos on both channels of me doing making wood chips with it. I didn't run the sunflowers through it last year, but this year I probably will. But you got your big hopper for your broken twigs and stuff you can drop in, and you got your chute on the side that can take up to 3-inch limbs through it. But they got to be absolutely straight. If they go like this, it's going to start binding up on you trying to get it to go through there.
And don't stick your hands in there to clear it.
Yeah. Go ahead and pull that down.
Or you can do like Howie does and just takes his barrels of scrap waste and just dumps it on the ground.
All right, here we go.
Let the bugs do their things.
All right, let's see. Hang on. I got and where's the volume on this? I need to turn it down. I'll just talk it. Yeah, I don't need that blaring in my ear. So I was out there this morning, took this one, and you can see all the wood chips out here on it. I've started sprinkling some of the dirt collected in back. The dirt is actually browner than it looks, except it's starting to dry out. Last year, it ended right up over here where I'm pointing at. That's where it went all. So all that's new added to the front yard. And out on the edge out there, it's about 2 feet deep. And it's wood chips, a layer of dirt, layer of wood chips, layer of dirt, compost in there, worms. And so that's what I did there. Now, here farther back from the line right there, back to right in front of the camera, is a dip. And I've got more wood chips to put in there and compost stuff to put in there. And then where I'm standing, I'm going to be turning the rototill on it and throwing the dirt on top of the wood chips I'm going to put down in here. And there's the wood chips from across the street. You got it in the field out there. That is a big pile of wood chips. And I'll be
I got to talk to the county guys.
Running it over with the loader bucket. Now this area out here, where it's all bare, that was 6 foot deep of wood chips, and where I've been turning the wood chip pile and lawn clippings and everything else in. And so that's all went out into the front yard. All that was here, this is what's left on it. This pile that was over here has a lot more soil in it from a couple of years of composting and scraping up all the rest of the wood chips. And out in the back out there, I got another pile of wood chips to go through, laying out there. This pile here, after it dries out a little bit here because it's been snowing and raining, I'm going to go ahead and light that up. And there's got a bunch of old branches and stuff in there, a lot more underneath, and burn it down into biochar. And I'll sprinkle that all over out in the front yard.
I got to talk to my the county guys, which I
into my garden.
No, he can't hear right now.
And I really need a dump trailer. If I had a dump trailer instead of the one my wife made me get, we'd gone ahead and gotten a little bit bigger dump trailer. I'd be driving up the road here to Gilmero's field up there, where he's just got piles and piles and piles of wood chips.
Is your volume up?
And
no,
just gathering, getting some of the ones, especially the ones that he gets from pine trees, and bringing it back to put in the ground, not only on my side but in the field across the street there. And I'll be dumping loads and loads and loads of wood chips out there.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, hang on. Yeah, hang on. Let me. There we go. Now I can talk. I plugged it in here. Yeah.
I should talk. Every time I go to the property, I drive by the county depot on top of the mountain where they have all the different piles of gravel and stuff they use for road work. And they always go out and do the wood chipping on the sides of the roads and that. Yeah, I'm kind of leery about what kind of things are in there. But hell, just for covering up the ground. I mean, I got a lot of acreage I'd like to get some wood chips on just to keep the weeds down.
Yeah.
And less to mow. I'll be like, hey, you guys can just dump a season's worth right here. Just dump it off the edge. And they're like, sure, you own the property? Like, yep, here's my deed. It's my property. Dump it here. I can spread it out. They'll be like, done. They don't have to get rid of it.
Yeah, that's if you can get a local job crew that's out locally working, and hunt them down and say, hey, yeah, over here, please.
Some of where the property's at, I'm not close to any local crews.
Yeah.
The county's about the only thing that does the roads. Anybody else, no, they're in the towns and they're a little too far away. They probably just take it back. They take it back to their own place and probably just sell it.
Yeah, some of them that my wife's run into, they'll charge $20 to drop it. And this is a big friggin' truck. I mean, when she dumps it, she has to park on the street because the driveway there in California we can park 3 cars side by side on there, open the doors up, not hit each other. So it's fairly nice wide driveway, and we can park 6 cars in there, 3 wide, 2 deep, and they'll come in there and dump. And
she ain't getting in the driveway.
She ain't getting in the driveway till she gets out there with the wheelbarrow and clears it from one side towards the house. I mean, from the fence line towards the house in the front yard where she can get park on the side there. But yeah, it's one of those one of those things that she does every 2 or 3 years. She gets a load of wood chips because she's been getting the rice straw so cheap, and it's easy. She just gets a couple of bales tossed in her car, brings them home, and spreads it where she wants it. Of course, after doing that for about 20 years, the soil's getting, you walk through there and the soil's squishy. But yeah, probably the ones that need any type of biomass the most are those in a new subdivision. Because
you mean that used to be a field where before they built the house, they stripped the 6 inches of topsoil off, sold it, and used it elsewhere, and then you have clay, and they throw straw down with seeds in it and say, yeah, it'll grow.
Well, more around where all the ones I've seen and where I've worked on in construction, now it's more along the lines. It's not a field. It's maybe semi-level, but it's hillsides and stuff like that, where they strip out the top 6 feet.
Yeah, well.
And most of that goes away, and then they strip it down, level, bury some of the good stuff under other stuff, and then dig all their trenches and everything else, and yeah.
For them, they don't care. It's just dirt. Dirt's dirt, whether it's clay dirt, top dirt, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
they just scoop it up, move it around, do what they want with it, and then it takes decades for your stuff to grow back again.
Yeah. Because in most subdivisions, you're dealing with at least in California, they run it different ways. So you can run it with the owner, the developer, which is not a contractor, and they'll contract out to general engineering to come and do grading, and do all the grading, get it all cut to grade and stuff. And then sometimes they'll have a joint trench engineering, a type C license, come in and put all the electrical underground, all the cable, internet, and stuff underground. And then you'll go back to the general engineering contractors. They'll come in and do the storm, sewer, and water, do those trenches. And then you'll get the general builder in there who will and then builds all the pads, builds all on the pads and stuff. Then you get a landscape contractor in there, comes in and levels everything and gets it all levels, and then sprays crap on it.
The green straw with the seeds embedded in it.
Yeah. Or as they did across the street from the House of California when they did that, they were doing the brown wood chips, the big stuff, because there's a lot of slope stuff, and I'm not sure what they had in there, but it grew friggin' fast, and because they wanted it to retain,
get the roots down in there somehow to keep the water from washing the hill away.
Yeah, and they do that, and then you get the sub landscapers coming in and laying sod.
Yeah, my lawns, I want green grass tomorrow. Okay, that'll be $30,000. Okay.
Well, doing that is what. All right, the summer my brother graduated from high school, 78. By October of 78, he had 2 crews of high school students that he went to school with working for him, and our cousin Jay had owned Green Thumb Landscaping, and he got all the subcontracts just for doing sprinklers and sod. Yeah. And by October, he bought his house, and he was paying everybody well above minimum wage, because these guys were loyal to him. But yeah, So like, oh, you need a lawn? Okay, sure thing. All right, we're gonna come in. We're gonna water it. We're gonna water it here for a couple days, and on like Wednesday and Thursday, we're gonna rototill on Friday evening. Saturday, we're laying your sod and putting in your sprinklers.
That works.
Yep.
It'd be a nice day to hear tomorrow. It's only going up to like 73, which means I can go out and cut the grass again. And I've been bagging it, but I can only handle so much grass clippings that take forever to turn to dirt.
Yeah.
And but I'll probably just throw the mulcher on there and just mulch it back in. Best way to feed your lawn, give it its dead bodies.
Yep. Let's see. So yeah, Jack says new subdivisions in Florida used to be swamps.
Great. Yeah, I like that grass matting stuff. They use that in culverts with the metal pins. They just unroll it and lay it down and pin it down there with those iron little staples, and it grows. That's great. And then you have nylon mesh netting embedded permanently in your grass.
The stuff that my brother was getting, they're coming rolls of.
Yeah.
They just go out there and the machine would just cut up, roll it up. Yeah, we get everything all raked, leveled, put in the sprinklers, compact the sprinkler lines themselves, and roll everything back out again and level it a second time, and you start laying sod. Yep. And it's like, and we tell the homeowners, okay, you have to water it 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the evening for a week.
At least.
You drive by, you check, make sure you're watering it, because otherwise you can kill it if you miss
and there's no warranty on that. Sorry.
Yeah. But back to just regular biomass for your garden, for your yard, whatever. It's like, all right, so like I'll mow the lawn with the all right, the first mowing, I'll go out there, which I should be going out there here in the next couple, probably next Wednesday. Let me look at the calendar here. Yeah, I know. It's raining again on Wednesday. It's raining maybe Tuesday. If I get out there on Tuesday.
Any snow? No more snow? You done with the snow?
Who knows? We got snow. When I woke up this morning, there was snow on the ground. An hour later, it was gone.
Well, that's good. That gets some nitrogen back in there.
Yeah, it gets water.
Blow away. It melts. Yeah.
But yeah, I'll go out there and I'll hit it with the ride-on mower set at 5 inches, and I will just hit it really quick, get all over it, everything. And so, but the weather-wise, it looks like I'll probably have to hit it again then on Saturday, again at 5 inches. And if it doesn't rain Sunday, then I'll hit it on Sunday down at 3 inches. And then after I hit it there, then I'll put the bagger on it and I'll just go around at 3 inches again and pick it all up. And by then I'll make sure I've gotten everything down. I'll pick it all up and put it I'll put it out in front where I was videoing there on top of the wood chips, and get that on there. And then I'll get the load of cow poo, dairy stuff ground up with some other stuff in there. It's been the best compost I've ever bought from any place, and spread a couple inches of that on it, and the plants will go absolutely friggin' nuts this summer. But yeah, it's working biomass in at first is it's going to be a chore at first working it in. If you've had soil, where they have not been working it into the soil for years.
Yeah, I told you I made a mistake last fall. I dumped a bunch of grass clippings on 2 of my garden beds, flattened it out a little bit, and didn't do anything with it. Now I have this inch-thick mat of grass on top of so I really can't do. I'm gonna have to like rake it all off of there so I can plant stuff. I haven't planted anything because I got grass matting on top of everything
All
from
right,
last year.
all right. Instead of just raking it off, wherever you're going to plant something, just go in there with like one of the little hand augers for your drill and just drill your little hole in there and put it in there. That'll keep all the weeds down.
It keeps the weeds down, but the grass, the stuff coming out of the grass going into, I mean, it probably washed most of it through, but it's still like brown and wet, like a carpet. So
this spring though, you'll find when you underneath of it, you'll find a bunch of worms there.
Oh, I already got worms under there. So I mean, I'll try that because I got those 2 beds were for my pickle cucumbers this year. So maybe I'll just get some, steal some soil from one of my other beds and do my little hole thing because it's about 3 inches down. I got to mound it up a little bit for the cucumbers.
Yeah. Oh,
or I'll just put dirt right on top of it and let them root through the grass. Who knows?
What is it? There's a sister plant for cucumbers. Let me look at it here.
What, to keep the bugs away?
Come on, the AI is not giving it here. It's either corn or sunflowers. It's a stock plant.
No, I'm not putting sunflowers out there. I just want one good yield of picklers so I can make my bread and butter pickles this year, and everything else I just want them to do sugar snap peas and that along my trellis. If they might be getting too low, got too cold. I'm not putting corn up there.
Corn is one of the ones listed here.
It's a 4x8 bed. I'm not planting corn.
Yeah. You'd only plant just a couple of them, but yeah. The other thing is to put up a cow panel. If it's a 4x8, just put a cow panel down the middle of it and let the numbers go up it.
Well, they're bush cucumbers, so they don't really climb that much.
Here he is, Mr. Chop and Drop's in the house. CR's in the house.
That's not Mr. Chop and Drop.
He's always saying he's chopping and dropping. Always.
I was talking about Howie. Howie's like the king of chop and drop.
Yeah.
What's up, CR?
Yeah, the right now, actually, this has been a weird winter here. The tree service companies have been going practically nonstop. Usually they shut down in the wintertime when there's snow on the ground, but there's only been snow for a couple days here and a couple days there, and these guys have been going nonstop.
Of course they are. It's easier cleanup. There's no leaves everywhere.
Yeah, and so if you check with your guys, there you said, you chop and drop.
Yeah, okay, chop and drop. He's the lasagna guy.
Yeah, Howie's the layer guy. And so now's the time. Check around with them and see who's around in your area. Now, interestingly, here, city of Idaho Falls, their dump has an area where a lot of the tree services just go in and they let the tree services dump for free. Then they let people come in and load up for free.
Okay.
So
my old town where I used to live, you raked your leaves out into the street, and the town came around with the ginormous vacuum machines and trucks and shredded it, threw it into the truck, and they dumped it at our local recycling center. And they had them we had piles that were probably 30 feet tall and 100 yards long, and like 8 or 10 of them at any given time. And every year they'd be like, okay, come get your leaf mulch. And people go in there and shovel it into their cars, trucks, whatever, and take it home and use it in their gardens.
Yeah. Yeah, I was watching those videos. These sycamores on the opposite corner from my building trimmed a few trees to the east. Yeah, watching a couple of those videos stuff. But yeah, there are a lot of stuff be going, you know, year round here, especially with the winds we had and the winds that are supposed to be coming this summer. This is supposed to be an exceptionally windy summer. So there'll be probably more trees coming down, more branches coming down, and the tree service guys are going to be out there doing a lot more stuff. So, anyways, that was tonight's topic. Mantra was, biochar, biochar too, but biomass for your gardens and properties and fields. Way to the field across the street was so. When Old Man Criddle owned it, all he ran out there were horses. He had too many horses for the size of that field. And so he'd just take out bales of alfalfa and dump them off. I pulled out so many nylon strings of bale out of there when I rototilled and stuff.
They get wrapped up in the tines.
Yeah. Or even when I was just disking and stuff, I'd see it, I'd go walking through and pick up tons of it. And so there's a lot of I mean, that property was just basically killed for growing stuff on. The only thing that grows out there is weeds right now, morning glory and Russian bloom, and I'm slowly taking that stuff out and revitalizing a little bit area and stuff at a time, and planting other things, mainly kidney beans, just planting them just to let them go wild and reseed and try to get nitrogen and stuff back into the soil and getting biomass into the soil as well. Some areas are starting to get the soil's starting to develop a little bit better, but yeah, it's going to take a long time to get that over there fixed. All right, coming up tomorrow night on Gray Man Prepping after a time dimensional shift. What are your plans? Monday on Camppatton Family Compound, making and preserving gravy. Tactical Tuesday on Gray Man Prepping is neighborhood situational awareness. Next Friday here, we're going to talking chickens, chicken tractor or movable fencing. So that's what the topic's going to be next Friday is chicken tractor or mobile fencing, or hire my boys to go out there with the pellet guns to kill all the vermin and let your chickens free range.
Oh, after the amount of coyotes I heard and saw on my trail cams early this week, yeah, I don't think putting a chicken tractor or any chickens on my property is a good idea for a while, because it doesn't matter what you put, they'll get them.
Interesting thing. Someone had bear problem on their property, and they had a bunch
of chickens.
With beehives, and had their beehives out there. Oh, they put up a electric fence around that thing that was looked like Fort Knox, and you could see where the grass all around it was all tore up from the bears trying to getting underneath of it, zap the crap out of them. They had to have that sucker cranked up to the highest legal voltage you could have an electric fence for.
Yeah, 208 3-phase, that works. 100 amps.
With a spotlight to make sure you get the full draw.
Yeah. Oh, bear just got the chair.
But yeah, I mean, I've seen more people putting up cow panels on insulator posts.
Yeah, okay. Electrify the whole panel.
And yeah, electrify the whole friggin' panel. And that way you touch anywhere on the panel, you're getting zapped. Any coyote goes up there, touches it, zap, yeah. And it's been so the ones I've been saying, they've chased off the raccoons, the possums, the coyotes, the foxes. The only thing they haven't chased off is the owls. But then they got some good sized Rhode Island Reds in there and stuff, and those roosters attack the owls when the owl swoops down in.
Yeah, you just throw some netting across the top. They'll keep them out.
Yeah,
they might get tangled in it if they don't see it in the middle of the night. But
yeah, but the thing is, though, if the chickens go into their hutch in the middle of the night, they're not out there to be spotted by the owl. My daughter's chickens across the street, though, I mean, they've actually been over into my stuff here. We're at that I put all that stuff out there, all the wood chips and stuff, scratching and picking, going through for bugs and stuff there.
Hey, let them.
Yeah, there were like six of these big golden something or other, golden huffers or something, and a couple of Rhode Island Reds come over here. They're going around. There's like 3 packs of these of her chickens going around the 5 acres over there and the 1 acre over here. And it's like,
man, after you just dump a pile of wood chips near the chickens, they'll spread it for you.
Yeah. All righty, folks. And with that, CR's fired again. But actually, it was a shocking experience for the bear. It was, I wish they had a night cam out there on it.
Yeah, trail cam would have been great.
Oh yeah,
just to see that electrical lightning bolt go from the fence to their nose 8 inches away and go pow.
Yeah. All right, everyone.
Scream. I'm sure it's an ugly sound.
Yeah. We're gonna go ahead and go now here, and we will see you hopefully tomorrow evening for Survival Saturday. Take care, everyone.
Good night.